Magandang araw! Kamusta na kayo? Tayo ngayon ay nasa huling bahagi ng ating pag-aaral sa matematika. At ang aralin natin sa linggong ito ay simple predictions of events with problem solving. Ito ay naaayon sa most essential learning competency. Ito rin ang ating aralin sa week 8, quarter 4. Ako nga pala, si Cherry Liz, at kung bago ka lamang sa channel na ito, ay huwag kalimutang mag-subscribe at pindutin ang notification bell upang maging updated ka pa sa susunod ko pang mga video. Ang objective natin sa linggong ito ay make simple prediction of events based on the results of experiments. Ito ay naayon sa MELC number 61. At solves routine and non-routine problems involving experimental and theoretical probability. Ito naman ay naayon sa MELC number 62. Umpisa na natin ang ating pag-aaral. According to WHO, or World Health Organization, Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine against COVID-19 has an efficacy of 95% against symptomatic SARS-CoV-2 infection. Does it mean that getting a vaccine will save you from the virus? To answer the question, you need to know the concept of probability. According to the data above, the effectiveness of Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine is 95%. Using a number line from 0 to 1, we locate 95%. So, ito yung number line. So, you're going to have 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.9, 7, 0.8, 0.9, and 1. So, i-locate natin dito yung 95%. Kung 95% yan, itong 0.1 ay 10%, 0.2 ay 2%, 20%, 0.3 is 30%, 0.4 is 40%, 0.5, 50%, 0.6, 60%, 0.7, 70%, 0.8, 80%, 0.9, 90%, and 1 is 100. So, i-locate natin. Kung i-locate natin yung 95%, makikita natin ang ating hinahanap na 95% ay nandito. Malapit siya dito sa 1, which is 100%. So, based on the number line, we can say that if a person was vaccinated with Pfizer-BioNTech, the person will certainly not to suffer against severe COVID-19 because the number is closer to 1 or 100. So, yung efficacy niya, effectivity of the vaccine is 95%, malapit siya sa 1 or 100%. So, yung probability, yung chances, yung kanyang effectiveness ay malaki kaysa sa doon sa ineffectiveness. So, chances are, mas safe siyang gamitin. The chance that something will happen is called probability. It is used to describe how likely or unlikely something will happen. Probability may be given in fraction, decimal, or percent, and the value of probability ranges from 0 to 1. 0 means the event is impossible to happen, while 1 means the event is certain to happen. So, ganyan po natin sinusukat ang probability. Pwede siyang isulat as fraction, pwede siyang isulat as decimal, at pwede rin siyang isulat as percent. So, kapag ang probability ay 0%, ibig sabihin, imposibleng mangyari. No? Hindi mangyayari. Samantalang kung ang probability ay 1 or 100%, so meaning to say, ang probability niya ay certain to happen or siguradong mangyayari. The event is unlikely to happen when its probability is closer to 0. Unlikely to happen pag close to 0. Ibig sabihin, mas malapit siya sa 0, yung ating probability is unlikely. Maaring hindi mangyari. Mas malaki yung chance na hindi ito mangyayari. Like winning a jackpot in a lottery, where you are only have 1 in a million chance of winning. No? Pag tumaya ka ng lottery, so 1 chance mo lang. Meron ka lang isang chance. So, ano yung probability nun? So, unlikely to happen. Kasi napakarami, million. So, from 0, 1 ka lang eh. 1 million yun. So, ang iyong chance of winning a jackpot in a lottery is unlikely to happen. The event that is most likely to happen is close to 1. Kapag ka naman malapit siya sa 1, hindi pa siya 1, kundi malapit pa siya sa 1, meaning to say, yung kanyang probability ay malaki. Most likely to happen. So, malaki yung chance na mangyayari. Pero hindi natin pwedeng sabing sigurado tayong mangyayari. Most likely lang. Yan yung mga word na dapat nating tatandaan. Yung most likely, closer to 1. Unlikely, closer to 0. Pag sinabi naman nating 1, 0, or 1 muna, 0 muna, 0 means the event is impossible. And kapag 1 naman means certain to happen. So, ngayon gawin natin ang example na nandito. Example 1. There are colored small cubes inside the box. There are 4 blue, 2 yellow, 3 red, and 1 green small cubes. What is the likelihood of picking a yellow cube out of the box? So, narito ang larawan ng box na kung saan nandun din yung mga small cubes. So, sabi dyan, meron tayong blue. 4 blue. So, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, 2 yellow. Ayun, 1, 2. 3 red. 1, 2, 3. And then, 1 green. So, all in all, meron tayong ilang small cubes? Meron tayong 10. No? 10 small cubes. So, ang tanong dyan, what is the likelihood of picking a yellow cube out of the box? Ano yung chance nun? Ano yung probability of picking yellow cube? So, since there are 10 colored cubes inside the box, and there are only 2 yellow, the chance of picking yellow cube is 2 out of 10, or 2/10, or 1/5. No? 2 out of 10. Dalawa doon sa 10. Or 1/5 kung ating ilo-lowest term. 2 out of 10 or 20%. No? Fraction at saka percent. No? 0.2 yan sa decimal. So, what is the probability of getting yellow? What is the chances of getting yellow? So, it is unlikely. It is unlikely to pick yellow out of the box kasi yung chance niya ay tulang, malapit siya sa 0. No? 20% lang siya. So, since malapit siya sa 0, ang kanyang probability is unlikely to happen. When we use a formula to find the probability of an event, we are finding the theoretical probability. Theoretical probability of an event is the number of ways that an event can occur divided by the total number of outcomes. Kung ating gagamitan ito ng formula to find the probability of an event, we are finding the theoretical probability. Yan, gagamitin natin yung theoretical probability. Yung theoretical probability of an event, yung the number of ways that an event can occur. Ito yung mga ways na maaring mangyari yung event na gusto na ating tinitingnan. So, divided by the total number of outcomes. So, ito yung 2/10, ito yung theoretical probability. Huh? So, this is the formula in theoretical probability. Theoretical probability equals number of favorable outcomes. Ano yung favorable outcomes natin? 2. Number of possible outcomes, ilan ang chances? 10, kasi 10 yung mga nasa box. Yung favorable outcomes naman na ating kukunin ay 2. Ayan. In our example, the number of favorable outcomes is 2. Since there are only 2 cubes or yellow cubes and the number of possible outcomes is 10. Since there are total of 10 cubes inside the box. So, yan yun. So, ang kanyang theoretical probability is 2 over 10 or 2 out of 10. Theoretical probability is 2/10 or 1/5. Ito na nga. Kuha na natin. Itong 2, yung number of favorable outcomes. Yung 10, number of possible outcomes. Therefore, the theoretical probability of getting yellow cube is 1/5. We can also find the probability of an event by doing an experiment. When we do this, we are finding experimental probability. Experimental probability of an event is the ratio of the number of times an event occurs to the total number of trials or times the activity is performed. Experimental probability equals number of times favorable outcomes occur over number of trials in the experiment. So, ito yung mga step. Una, number 1, take a cube inside the box. So, kuha ka ng cube. Number 2, record. Sulat mo kung ano yung kulay na nakuha mo. Record the color and return the cube in the box. Pagkakuha mo ng cube, halimbawa, ilagay mo kung anong kulay na nakuha mo and then ibalik yung cube. Kung blue yon, magagawa ka ng tara kung anong mga kulay ang iyong nakuha. Then, repeat the process at least 10 times. At least 10 times mo siyang kukunin. The number of times a yellow cube was picked. Kung ilang beses mo nakuha yung yellow, halimbawa, 4 na beses mo siya nakuha, using the formula, we have experimental probability equals number of times favorable outcomes occur. Sabi natin, 4 na beses sa 10 beses, no? Number of times favorable outcomes occur. Halimbawa ay 4, sabi natin, 4. Number of trials in the experiment, 10. 10 try natin, nakakuha tayo ng 4 na yellow. Sa 10 beses nating pagkuha. So, the experimental probability will be 4 over 10 or 2/5. Ayan. Ganyan natin ginagawa ang experimental probability. So, let us have example number 2. In a die, ibig sabihin isang dice. Pag dalawa kasi dice, pag isa die. In a die, what is the probability of getting a face with 1 dot, 3 dots, and 5 dots? So, ito yung die. So, alam naman natin, sa bawat side niya ay may mga bilog o tuldok or dots. So, meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kung 6 ang sides niya, ang bawat side niya ay may dot. No? So, tinatanong dyan, what is the probability of getting a face with 1 dot, 3 dots, and 5 dots? So, therefore, using the theoretical probability, number of favorable outcomes over number of possible outcomes. So, halimbawa sa 1, ilan ang favorable outcomes? E di 1, number of outcomes. Ilan lahat yung mga side niya? Mga dots? 6. So, 1 out of 6. Yan. Theoretical probability, getting a face with 1 dot. Isa lang, kasi isa lang naman ang may 1 dot doon. 1 out of 6. No? Number of favorable outcomes is isa lang yung may 1 dot. Number of possible outcomes, 6. Kasi 6 yung faces niya. Na may 6, may mga dot din. So, number 2, getting 3 dots. Ang possibility, theoretical probability of getting 3 dots. Ilan ba ang may 3 dots doon? Isa lang din. Yun yung kanyang favorable outcomes. Number of possible outcomes, 6. So, 1/6. So, theoretical probability, getting 5 dots. Ilan ba may 5 dots dun sa die? Isa lang din. Yung favorable outcomes natin, 6. So, yan yung pagsulat natin ng probability using theoretical probability. Theoretical probability equals number of favorable outcomes over number of possible outcomes. So, let us have example number 3. Arkin is tossing a coin. He tossed the coin 50 times. It landed on tails 38 times. Find the probability of landing on heads. So, nag-toss tayo. Ilan ba yung side ng coin? Dalawa lang yan. Meron tayong head at meron tayong tail. Merong ulo at meron tayong likod ng tail na tinatawag. So, sabi dyan, 50 times. Ilang beses niyang ihinagis? 50 times. Ilang beses lumabas yung tails? 38 times. Sa 50 times na yun, 38 times lumabas yung tails. Ngayon, doon sa 50 naman na yun, hahanapin natin kung ilan ang probability na lumabas ang heads. Paano natin makukuha? Okay. Since tail landed 38 times, therefore, heads landed 12 times. Kasi yung 50, sa 50 times na yun, minus natin yung 38 times ng tails, so matitira doon yung 12 times. So, yung 12 times na yon, ito yung head. Experimental probability equals number of times favorable outcomes occur over number of trials in the experiment. Ano yung number of times favorable outcomes occur? Ano ba yung hinahanap natin dito? Yung head. So, dahil ang head ay 12, 12 out of 50 or 6 over 25. Ito ngayon yung experimental probability. Nakuha natin yung kung ilang times nag-land yung head out of 50 times. So, let us have example number 4. A medical study tested new vaccine on 4,800 participants. It is effective to 4,200 participants. Find the experimental probability of the effectiveness of the vaccine. So, experimental probability equals number of times favorable outcomes occur over number of trials in the experiment. So, ilan ba yung gusto nating palabasin? Gusto natin makita yung effectiveness. So, yung effectiveness niya ay 4,200. At yung number of trials niya, tinry natin sa 4,800 participants. Doon sa 4,800 participants na binigyan ng vaccine, yung effectiveness niya ay lumabas lang na 4,200 para lang doon sa 4,200 participants. So, experimental probability, yung number of times favorable outcomes occur is 4,200, yung kanina sinabi ko. So, this one, over number of trials in the experiment, which is 4,800. So, 4,200 over 4,800, or kung atin itong reduce to lowest term, so ika-cancel lang natin dalawang zero, then yung common multiple ng 42 at saka 48 is 6. 42 divided by 6 is 7. And 48 divided by 6 is 8. So, ang lowest term niya is 7 over 8. Or kung ating kukunin ng percentage, 7 divided by 8, we will get 87.5%. So, ano yung probability niya? Is it certain, impossible, unlikely, as likely and as likely, or likely to happen? So, dahil sa chance niya na 87.5%, malapit siya sa 100%, although hindi siya 100% mismo, malapit lang. So, the chance of, the effectiveness of the vaccine is 87.5% or likely. Nasa likely tayo. Malaki yung chance na effective yung ating vaccine. No? The experimental probability that the vaccine is effective is 7 out of 8 or 87.5%. Yun ang kanyang effectivity. Ayan. So, ganyan natin kino-compute ang experimental probability. So, kanina pa natin binabanggit or kanina ko pa binabanggit ang theoretical at saka experimental probability. So, to make a definition of these two, when we say theoretical probability is what we expect to happen. Yung gusto nating mangyari. Ina-expect natin na mangyari. And experimental naman, experimental probability is what actually happen when we try it out. Yung isa ay theory lang natin. Nasa isip lang natin, na-expect natin, lalabas ang ganito. Pero dito sa experimental probability, ginawa na natin at nakita na natin yung kalalabasan. So, yun yung kaibahan ng theoretical probability sa experimental. Yung theory or theoretical, yung ina-expect lang natin. Hindi pa natin na-try. Samantalang sa experimental probability, yun talaga yung nakita natin na nangyari. Kasi, we try it out. Ginawa natin. Naintindihan po? So, sana ay naintindihan yung pagkakaiba ng theoretical probability sa pagitan ng experimental probability. As more trials conducted, the more experimental probability generally gets closer to the theoretical probability. No? Habang ginagawa natin ng experimental probability, so nagiging yung probability niya ay nagiging theoretical, nagiging kaparehos na rin ng ating theoretical probability. Theories muna natin iniisip muna natin kung ano yung pwedeng mangyari. Kahit na hindi pa natin natatry. Sinasabi na agad natin na ito ang mangyayari. Yun yung theoretical probability. Samantalang pag experimental probability, tinry na natin. Ginawa na natin. Kaya, habang ginagawa natin yung experimental probability, nakikita natin yung proof ng theoretical probability. Since naalam na natin ang dalawang uri ng probability, una yung experimental probability kapag gumawa ka ng experiment, isinagawa mo, at ang ikalawa ay theoretical. Kung hindi mo man ito ginawa, pero nasabi mo na agad yung probability. No? Sinabi mo na agad yung probability, that is theoretical based on theory, at yung isa experimental probability based on experience, yung actual na nangyayari. So, sagutan natin yung learning task 1. Learning task 1, direction. Tell whether the given situation is an experimental or theoretical probability. So, dito sa 5 situation na to, 4 ang ating sasagutan at isa ang kayo na lang ang magsasagot. Mag-iiwan ako ng isang activity na kung saan kayo ang sasagot. So, number 1, probability of getting a dot when rolling a die. Ito ba ay experimental probability or theoretical probability? So, dito sa number 1, ito yung mga pagpipilian. Experimental or theoretical. Sa number 1, when rolling a die. So, ibig sabihin, kapag lang. Ibig sabihin, ginawa natin to or gagawin pa lang. So, hindi pa natin to ginawa. So, kapag hindi pa ginawa, ang probability na pwede natin ibigay dyan ay theoretical probability. Based on theory pa lang, no? That will be theoretical. Then, number 2, tossing a coin 50 times. O, ginawa na ba natin to or hindi pa? Okay. So, it landed head 22 times. What is the probability of landing a tail? O, ito ba ay theoretical probability or experimental probability? Okay, this is experimental. Kasi meron tayong ginawang trial. Na-try natin yung 50 times. No? Yan. Yan yung experimental probability. Number 3, chances of winning in a raffle contest. So, ano yung hinihingi lang natin yung chance? Hindi pa natin tinry yung raffle na yon. Hindi pa tayo kumukuha ng mga kung anong mga dapat nating dadamputin sa raffle na yun ng mga number. So, yung chances na yon, yan yung theoretical probability. Kasi, binigay pa lang natin ng theory. No? Hindi pa natin tinry. Number 4, a day chosen from a week. Okay na maglalagay niyan. Is that theoretical probability or experimental probability? Number 5, a survey was conducted. So, ibig sabihin, nagawa na. Ibig sabihin, that is experimental. Na-try na natin. Conducted about efficacy of video lesson. 200 grade 6 pupils were the participants. 145 students said it is effective and big help in modular distance learning. So, yan. So, ganyan natin. Basta tatandaan ninyo, kapag theoretical probability, hindi pa natin next na try. Pero kapag nagawa natin yon, yun yung experimental probability. Sagutan naman natin ang learning task 2. Solve the following problems. Make prediction based on the problem. A spinner is divided into 4 equal sections, numbered 1 to 4. It is spun 100 times. Here are the result of the spin. Nung pinaikot, experimental to, no? Experimental probability, pinaikot yung ating spinner. Ito yung lumabas. Yung number 1, doon sa spinner, lumabas ng 28 times. Yung number 2, doon sa spinner, lumabas ng 35 times. Yung number 3, lumabas ng 25 times. At yung number 4, lumabas ng 12 times. So, yan. Kung ating i-add yung 28 plus 35 plus 12 plus 25, yan ay 100 times. So, sa loob ng 100 times na yan, yan yung mga lumabas na number. No? Sagutan natin yung mga tanong tungkol dun sa ating experiment. Number 1. Find the probability of what of that 4 will be spun. So, titingnan natin yung 4. Ito yung 4. Ilang beses ba lumabas dun sa pag-ikot? 12 times. So, 12 out of 100. 12 over 100 or 3 over 25 kasi ni-lowest term natin. So, dinivide natin pareho sa common factor na 4. Kaya 3 over 25. So, find the probability of that 3 will be spun. So, titingnan naman natin yung 3. Ito, 3. No? Kung titingnan naman natin yung 3, burahin muna natin itong mga nakalagay dito. Kung dito naman natin titingnan yung 3, ilang beses ba naman lumabas yung 3? So, lumabas ng 25 times or 25 over 100 in lowest term, 1 over 4 or 1 out of 4. So, yun yung probability na 3 ang lalabas. Find the probability of that 2 will be spun. O, titingnan naman natin yung 2. Ilang beses ba lumabas yung 2, no? Yung outcomes natin na 2. Ito, 2, 35 times. 35 out of 100. Yan, 35 out of 100 or 7 out of 20. Kasi pag nilowest term natin, i-divide natin pareho sa 5, na GCF yung 35 at 100, we will get 7 over 20. So, ganun din sa number 4. Ang titingnan natin yung 1. So, kayo nang magsasagot nito para makita natin kung nasusundan ninyo yung paraan ng ating pagsasagot. I will leave you to answer this number 4 for your practice. Okay, gets? Sagutan naman natin ang letter B problem. A drawer contains 6 black marbles, 2 white marbles, 4 red marbles, 2 maroon marbles, and 2 blue marbles. 1 marble is picked at random and then replaced. Predict how many times can you expect the color of the marble to be picked. Letter A, white. Anong pwede nating masabing probability na white ang ating makukuha? Letter B, blue. Letter C, red. Letter D, black. Letter E, maroon. And letter F, not white. So, ang sasagutan lang natin ay itong letter A, letter C, letter E, and letter F. Iiwanan ko na kayo magsasagot sa letter B at letter D. So, pakinggan mabuti at tingnan, i-analyze mabuti kung paano natin sasagutan ang bawat letter na yan. So, how many times daw na white ang makukuha natin? Sa white, ilan ba ang white natin? O ilan lahat muna ang mga marbles? Meron tayong 6 marbles, plus 2 white marbles, plus 4 red marbles, plus 2 maroon marbles, and 2 blue marbles. So, all in all, meron tayong 16. 6 sa black, 2 sa white, 4 sa red, 2 sa maroon, 2 sa blue. So, we have 16. So, yung ating white marbles, ano yung expect natin? So, ibig sabihin, ito ay expect. We are going to expect theoretical to. So, dahil dito lang ang ating white marble, at 16 yung kanyang time, so ang ating sagot ay 2 out of 16 using theoretical probability, no? 2 out of 16 or 1/8 or 1 out of 8. So, yan yung expected nating lalabas ang white marbles kasi white ay 2. Ngayon, blue. O, sabi ko nga, kayo magsasagot ng blue. Letter C, red. Ano yung how many times can you expect the color red? So, ilan ba yung red? So, we have 4. So, 4 yung red marble. So, 4 out of 16 or 1 out of 4 kasi lowest term natin. So, ganun din yung black. Ilan ba yung black? So, you have 6. So, kayo na magsasagot ng black marbles. Then, maroon. Ang maroon ay 2. 2 ang maroon. Kaya, 2 out of 16. 2 lang ang maroon, tapos 16 lahat sila. So, 2 out of 16 or 1 out of 8. Yung not white. So, ibig sabihin, ilan ba ang marbles natin? 16. Ilan ang white? 2. So, 16, tanggalin natin ang white. So, 14 ang hindi white. So, 14. So, we have 14 out of 16 or 7 out of 8. Sagutan naman natin ang learning task number 3. A. From a deck of cards, you draw one card at random. Find the probability of drawing each of the following. 1. A red card. 2. A black card. 3. An ace. 4. A spade. 5. A king of hearts. So, yung deck of cards, ano ba yung bumubuo ng deck of cards? A deck of cards consists of 13 hearts. No? Yung isang box ng baraha ay may 13 hearts. Yung 13 hearts na yon ay merong ace of hearts, 2 of hearts, 3 of hearts, 4 of hearts, 5 of hearts, 6 of hearts, 7 of hearts, 8 of hearts, 9 of hearts, 10 of hearts, jack of hearts, queen of hearts, and king of hearts. So, yan yung 13 na hearts. So, bukod sa hearts, meron din siyang 13 na diamonds. So, ganun din ang bumubuo sa kanya from ace to king. Meron din siyang 13 na spade, yung parang pala. At meron din siyang 13 na flowers or clubs. All in all, ang isang deck of cards na binubuo ng hearts, diamond, spade, at saka clubs ay may total na 52. Kasi 13 of hearts plus 13 diamonds plus 13 spade plus 13 flowers or clubs equals to 52 cards. So, ngayon, ano daw yung probability of drawing a red card? So, red card, ano ba yung mga red card? Ayan, may kulay na tayo. Yun yung hearts at saka diamonds. So, meron tayong 13 hearts at 13 diamonds. All in all, meron tayong 26 red cards out of 52. Kung lahat ay 52, 26 doon ay red card. So, 26/52 or 26 out of 52 are red cards or 1 out of 2 are red cards. Naintindihan po? So, a black card. O, tingnan nyo naman. Alin dyan na may black card? Ang black card ay yung spade at saka yung clubs. So, ilan lahat sila? Ayan. Okay, magsasagot sa number 2. Sa number 3, an ace. O, ilan ba ang ace? Yung heart ay may ace. Ito yung ace. Ang diamonds may ace, ang spade may ace, at ang flowers or clubs ay may ace. So, ilan ang ace lahat? So, meron tayong 4. 4 out of 52 ang ace, no? Ang ace niya ay 4 out of 52 or 1 out of 13, no? 1 out of 13 ay meron tayong ace. Ace. So, a spade. Meron tayong spade na 13. Ito, spade, 13. 13 out of 52 or 1 out of 4. No? I-lowest term natin 13 out of 52 is 1 out of 4. King of hearts. So, ang hearts ay yan lang, 13. Pero doon sa 13 na hearts na yun, ilan ang king? Okay, kayo na yung magsasagot. So, ganyan lang po ang pagsasagot ng learning task number 3. Iniwan kong sasagutan ninyo ang number 2 at number 5. Sundin lang yung mga examples given at tingnan yung paliwanag sa ibaba para masagutan ang number 2 at number 5 ng learning task number 3. Ngayon naman ay sagutan natin ang learning task number 4. 2 coins are tossed at the same time for 20 times. Below are the result of the tossing of coins. Ito yung naging resulta. So, 20 times nating itinos, hinagis. Ang ating coin ay may dalawang mukha. Isang head at isang tail. We have the head and the tail. So, ngayon doon sa 20 times na yon, ito yung lumabas. Sa unang toss, lumabas ay head. Parehong head. Sa ikalawa, parehong tail. Sa ikatlo, parehong head. Sa ikaapat, parehong tail. Sa ikalima, parehong tail. Sa ika-anim, head at tail. Sa ikapito, tail at head. Sa ikawalo, head at head. Sa 9 ay head and tail. Sa 10 ay head and head. 11, head and tail. 12, head and head. 13, tail and head. 14, tail and head. 15, head and tail. 16, tail and head. 17, head and tail. 18, head and tail. 19, head and head. 20, tail and head. Ito na yung summary. Ito na yung naging resulta ng pag-toss ng 20 times. Sagutin natin yung mga tanong. Number 1, based on the problem above, answer the following question. Number 1, what is the experimental probability that the result is 2 heads? So, tingnan natin dyan yung parehong head ang lumabas. So, bilangin natin. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Meron pa bang head and head? Dalawang head. 6. Itong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Meron tayong 6 out of 20 or ano yan? 3, 10. So, meron tayong 3 over 10 na lumabas. 6 out of 20 or 3, 10. Ngayon naman, what the experimental probability that the result is 2 tails? So, titingnan yung 2 tails. So, dalawang tail. Ito, 1, 2, 3, saan pa? Wala na, 3 out of 20. So, wala. Kayo na maglalagay ito sa number 2. Number 3, what is the experimental probability that the result is a head and a tail or vice versa? Head and tail naman. Head and tail. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, 11 out of 20 ang lumabas ay tail and head or head and tail. So, ayan. So, kayo na magsasagot ng number 2. Para sa bonus part po, narito po ang ating assessment at nilagay ko po yung mga may sagot. Ayan. Hindi ko na po i-discuss at kayo na po magsasagot ng number 2 at number 5. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood at congratulations po at natapos na natin ang ating pag-aaral sa ika-6 na baitang. Tayo ay gagraduate na. Thank you for watching and keep smiling and congratulations graduates. God bless us all.